For years, her voice lived only in notebooks, pages crumpled under pillows, poems whispered to walls that never clapped. At home, she was the quiet one. In class, the invisible one. Her laughter stopped at her lips, because every time she tried to speak, someone cut her down. Be quiet. No one cares. So she swallowed her words, buried them so deep, even she began to believe they didn't matter. But silence isn't the same as emptiness. It is pressure. It is power, waiting to erupt. And the night she finally pressed upload, her silence thundered across millions of screens. The girl they once ignored was now the voice no one could stop listening to. This is Aisha's story. And maybe today is your story too. Lucknow, a house where opinions were louder than the walls. Brothers argued politics. Uncles shouted cricket scores. Neighbors' voices leaked through thin windows. But Aisha, she listened. And when she tried to join in, her voice cracked. Her words tangled like shoelaces. Be quiet, her cousins teased. You sound stupid. At school, the stage belonged to debaters, hand-raisers, the bold. Aisha sat in the corner, notebooks filled with thoughts she never spoke. Words that lived on paper but died in her throat. By 18, she had mastered invisibility. She didn't take space. She didn't take chances. She carried silence like a second skin. But silence is heavy, and the heavier it gets, the more it demands to crack. One humid night in her hostel, Aisha scrolled YouTube, her eyes half closed, her body tired. And then, she stopped. On the screen, a girl her age, shaking hands, voice trembling, reading a poem, not polished, not perfect, but raw, alive. The audience clapped anyway. Aisha whispered to herself, if she can tremble out loud, why can't I? That night, she opened her laptop, a cheap webcam, a flickering tube light, a heart pounding against her ribs. She read one of her secret poems, Peace About Silence. Her hands shook so hard the frame blurred. When she finished, she hovered over delete. But something inside whispered, not this time, upload. The next morning, she expected nothing. Maybe one view, maybe two. Instead, there were hundreds, then thousands. Comments flooding in from across the nation. You put my feelings into words. I thought I was alone. Please don't stop. Aisha stared at the screen. Her throat tightened. The words she had buried had become someone else's freedom. For the first time in her life, silence gave birth to sound. So she uploaded again and again. Her videos weren't polished. The lighting was bad. Her accent slipped between Hindi and English. But the honesty was flawless. She spoke of loneliness in hostels, of the fear of raising your hand in class, of parents measuring love in grades. And suddenly, students from Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad crowded her channel because she wasn't just telling her story, she was telling theirs. But when light shines, shadows fight back. Hate comments appeared. Cringe. Attention seeker. Who gave this girl a voice? For a moment, the old silence came calling. Her finger hovered over delete channel. But then she remembered the message from a girl in Kolkata. Your video stopped me from giving up. Aisha whispered to herself, if even one person stays, then I stay too. And she kept uploading. Months passed. Views turned into waves. Subscribers turned into a storm. 1 million. 2. Brands came. Headlines followed. The silent girl who broke the internet. But what mattered most wasn't the views. It was the private messages. From a boy who said, I finally told my dad I want to study art. From a girl who whispered, I finally raised my hand in class. Her voice had become the permission others needed. So, friend, what about you? Maybe your silence isn't online. Maybe it's in office meetings where your idea never leaves your lips. Maybe it's in a classroom where you shrink into the back row. Maybe it's in a relationship where you've forgotten your own wants. But let me tell you, your silence is not emptiness. It is storage. It is energy. It is pressure, waiting for release. And the day you let it out, you may not just speak for yourself. You may speak for millions. So today I dare you, write one line, say one thought, take one trembling step into the light. Because when Aisha finally spoke, millions listened. And maybe when you do, the world will too. Drop one word in the comments, the word you've kept inside too long. And if Aisha's story reminded you that your silence can become strength, hit like, subscribe to Rise Remember Stories for daily stories, and share this with someone who's been quiet for too long, because she stayed silent for years. But when she spoke, she broke the internet.